Your dreams were nobody else. Give your tears to the tide.
St Andrews College is situated in Makanda, formerly Grahamstown, on the beautiful Sunshine Coast of the Eastern Cape of South Africa. This small city is home to Africa's largest celebration of the arts, the National Arts Festival, the Sci-Fest, 52 churches, and Rhodes University, which was founded out of St Andrews College in 1904.
With an incredibly proud heritage dating back to 1855, St Andrews College is steeped in rich tradition and at the same time is a thoroughly modern, progressive boys' boarding school. The academic, sporting, and cultural dimensions of the school provide a foundation of absolute excellence that is embedded firmly in its Anglican roots.
Being a stone's throw away from some of the most breathtaking beaches, wildlife reserves, and country districts that South Africa has to offer, outdoor education is a key component of the college experience, with our flagship experience being the epic Fish River journey.
Our city, as a microcosm of broader South Africa, provides good opportunity for us to partner with local schools and organizations in meaningful ways that bring together children and institutions.
Welcome to our parents. It really is dreadful that you can't be with us here today, but we look forward to 2021 when we can connect again in person and celebrate the events of the year with your boys.
Welcome to Old Andrians from around the globe. Thank you for your extraordinary support for college and your continued interest in your old school.
Welcome to our Chairman of Council, Mr. Jacko Maree. We also welcome all our other council members. Thank you for all the time, energy and expertise you invest into college. We also thank you for the genuine love and care that you put into our school. It is greatly appreciated.
Welcome to past staff and friends of college who are watching this live stream. And finally, welcome to the boys and staff who make up St Andrews College. Welcome to Speech Day 2020.
To quote from the introduction to Marguerite Poland's biography of St Andrews College, The Boy and You, for the Andrian community itself, college is not just a few acres of buildings or playing fields on West Hill, part of the landscape of a small and isolated Eastern Cape town. It is far more than that. It is a region of belonging. a landscape of the heart. And welcome to our prize winners here in the Centenary Hall, and also to the Matric prize winning parents who have joined us here this afternoon.
On stage today, we have Mr. Alan Thompson, our headmaster, our chaplain, Reverend Richard Wingard, and our guest of honor, Professor Gavin Keaton, who has kindly agreed to hand out all the prizes today. And finally, we have our head of school, Jonathan Shamwana, who will address us later on in the day.
As is traditional, we start our speech day with a prayer by the youngest boy in St. Andrew's College, which is Chuku Ekbebech this year. After that, we will start with the school hymn.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the privilege of being here today to showcase the incredible musical, dance, and dramatic talents of our boys. We thank you for the opportunity that Speech Day gives us to honor the academic talents of our boys. We thank you for the richness and diversity of the talents and gifts of our boys. May your hand be on us and over all the proceedings of this Speech Day. May your name be lifted high through all that happens here today. May your Holy Spirit lead and guide all the proceedings of this day. We offer this time to you, that all we do may be pleasing to you. We ask all this through Jesus Christ our Lord and Savior. Amen.
Afternoon, Matt.
Afternoon, Robbie. Who would have thought we'd have a speech day like this?
Certainly not me, but I'm sure us and alongside everybody else can make the most of today.
With a year that does not have much to report on, because nothing has happened except online learning, we're going to turn our focus on how this unexpected and tragic and bizarre year has shaped our thoughts and our hearts.
To repeat that quote by Margaret Poland in The Boy and You, for the Andrian community itself, college is not just a few acres of buildings or playing fields on West Hill in a small, isolated Eastern Cape town. It is far more than that. It is a region of belonging, a landscape of the heart.
So we have some music, poems, speeches, and the announcement of next year's head and deputy head of school. So don't leave us.
And when else would we have the opportunity to drive off to the beautiful Eastern Cape towns with our headmaster in his Land Rover and just chat about things? So we went and did exactly that. So here is the first Land Rover conversation for the afternoon. And if you would like to send us any messages, please use the hashtag SACSpeechDay2020 or use the comment section on the YouTube stream.
You'd obviously farm outside Bedford.
Yeah, just other side towards Turkestan. Yeah.
And what do they farm?
We do cattle, goats, and sheep.
Yeah.
And then we also have quite a lot of game in that as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you finish school, are you gonna be a farmer?
I'd like to be a farmer, but there's also with now because I do phys chem and that as well. So there's so many options for me to take.
Yeah.
So I don't want to waste. I don't want to waste any opportunity. So I definitely gonna go study.
Yeah.
And then
There's a water.
You're a decent board, yeah. So definitely just see what all my options are. But I love.
Yeah.
I mean, farming's my life. I want to live on a farm when I'm older.
Yeah. So journey is going to be a bit of a doddle for you.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I can't wait. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's still going to push quite a lot of people quite a bit though.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially now Oaks haven't really been doing too much exercise in the last few months.
Yeah.
So.
The nice thing is, whatever your fitness level, it'll find a way to test you.
Yeah, definitely.
If you're the fittest or the least fit,
Yeah,
it'll be
but
tested.
it helps other people as well. So.
Yeah, I'm pleased it could go ahead.
Yeah,
At one point we
I
were
was
having our doubts.
Yeah, I was a bit scared at a point. It's nice that we can also do it with the girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't expect that to be able to happen.
So there's a story of one of the old boys here at Bedford. It might be Hugh actually,
Yeah.
who was dropped off in Upper and was missing the farm so much that he walked home.
That is my uncle.
Is that your uncle?
Yeah.
Who was that?
Denim Pringle.
Is that Denham? Oh, right, yes.
So, yeah, he ran away from Upper with a stick of bottle and a pineapple. Yeah. Yeah, so we all tune him about that.
A very good afternoon, Mr. and Mrs. Maree, our guest of honour, Professor Gavin Keaton, members of council and staff, parents and boys, and a first for Speech Day to the Andrian community throughout the world. As you can see, I like driving around, and one of my favourite drives is the route from Graafrenet to Bedford. It is there that I feel, rightly or wrongly, and I know people have strong views on these things, that I'm in the absolute centre of the Eastern Cape. I'm struck by its vastness, its beautiful vistas of quintessential terrain. Aloe-dotted rolling hills of incredible biodiversity provide a multitude of changing vistas as one transitions from the dusty Karoo towards Bedford and then on to the pristine coastline. Most striking of all for me are the big skies and the wide open spaces. And how odd it is that when we think of landscapes, we tend to imagine them as places of nothingness, as if the richness of nature and the beauty of God's creation has no meaning without clustered humanity being the centre of attention. Timothy Ingold, Professor of Social Anthropology at the University of Aberdeen, expresses it thus: the landscape tells, or rather is, a story. It enfolds the lives and the times of predecessors who, over the generations, have moved around in it and played their part in its formation. To perceive the landscape is therefore to carry out an act of remembrance, and remembering is not so much a matter of calling up an internal image stored in the mind as of engaging perpetually with the environment that is itself pregnant with the past. And so rather than imagining the landscape as an empty vista, I imagine it as rich and full, not simply as a thing of beauty, but of function and meaning. And if we stop to listen to it, it has many lessons to teach. And similarly, if we were to imagine this year as a year of missed opportunity where so much never happened, we would lose the chance to reflect on how much actually has happened, what an incredible year it has been, and what we have been able to achieve. These are our times, and these are our moments. We chose not our place in history. History has chosen us. And when times are easy, we have the privilege of being able to take it easy and enjoy the ride. But it's in the tough times that the true mettle of a person's character is tested. And I can say without any doubt that the community of St Andrews College can hold its head up high and celebrate today that which we have been able to make from that which we've been given. Far from an empty landscape, 2020 has provided some incredible opportunities for learning and for growth. It has, if nothing else, been a teacher of some many good lessons. I've learned from 2020 that while a strong self-reliance is a good thing, being able to rely on others and having a strong team of support is much better. I've learned that routine is comfortable, but in disruption comes great opportunity to try new things, today being one such example, to discover different ways of doing things and not be scared of failure. I've learned that however bad I think I have it, there are many others who suffer far more than I do, and I'm called to find ways of being a positive contributor to my community. And especially, I've learned that when events seem too complex to manage, a focus on the small things will carry you through, and that in the absence of a guiding precedent, turning to core values provides the guidance we need to get to the other side. I've learned never, ever to take anything for granted, to savor each moment that I have the privilege of living the Andrian life. Lockdown created for us a wonderful opportunity to develop online methodologies and to fully use IT as a tool of learning. I recognize here the outstanding commitment of the college and DSG academic staff in making such a success of it. We all know that great schools are not about things, and especially not computers. They're about people. And I acknowledge here the incredible people who make up the staff of college. I acknowledge the academic staff, the house staff, the cleaners and gardeners, the chefs, the kitchen staff, drivers, admin staff, maintenance, who together give so much to create a positive learning environment wherein our boys may find their unique giftedness and flourish. On the academic front, this year has seen continued growth in our A-level program, which now stands as one of the most comprehensive in the country and is growing nicely. And our academic excellence program has shifted from an infrastructure focus to growing our academic offering at every level. If a school were only about academics, it would be quite a dry experience, but without them, it's not a school. So placing academics at the core of what we do becomes more important every year, and the academic excellence strategy is designed to do just that. And when I speak of a team, I really do mean that this year has been a team effort. And mentioning my close team of Mrs. Carol Muirhead, Mr. Jabulani Maswanganyi, Mr. Aidan Smith, Mr. Lewis Mantata, Mr. Scott Jackson, I limit myself simply because of time and space in this address. Every member of staff has played an incredible role in this most demanding of years, and I record my gratitude to them here. I was asked sometime in the second term how I was coping with the stress of having to deal with the coronavirus crisis and the challenges emanating from a global awakening against racism. Of course, the error of logic in the question provides its own answer. For in one we faced a true crisis, and in the other we faced not challenge, but a wide open landscape of opportunity. An opportunity to finally look the beast of racism in its eyes, call it by its name, and effect genuine change. And there has been much work done, and I recognize with gratitude all who have engaged in the process: boys, Oldandrians, staff, parents, and friends of college. And while it's not always been easy, it has always been characterized by a mutual love for college and by the recognition of the fact that we, all of us, want college to be the best school, not just in itself, but for every college boy. So we have an operational transformation and diversity committee that has achieved much this year, and a council committee that is authentic and representative. It has a full agenda of issues to address and people committed to creating a progressive environment of belonging. And as a middle-aged white man who grew up in the thick of colonial legacy and apartheid, one could be excused for thinking that I would feel slightly threatened by all of these discussions about privilege, race, gender, and sexuality. But that could not be further from the truth. And there's another logical flaw in that thought. For it is in the recognition of the other in relation to the self that we truly discover ourselves. In examining the influence of our past that we take control of our future. In seeing the humanity and the value in the other that I gain humanity myself, not lose it. And in helping create an equitable society, I gain in every way, not least my ability to make an authentic contribution. I become more relevant, not less. Anyway, those core Andrian values that guided us through the difficult term guide us here. For racism in any form is simply incompatible with the Andrian values that have been part of this school since John Armstrong founded it in 1855. French novelist Marcel Proust expresses it thus: the only real voyage consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes, in seeing the universe through the eyes of one another, 100 others, in seeing the 100 of universes that each of them sees. So this is our landscape, and these are our times and our moments. We didn't choose them. History has chosen us. We have a great opportunity to take that which has presented itself and write a history for the future that is better. Now visualize this for a moment. It's a warm winter's day. Lowerfield is full to capacity, and the Highlander is overflowing with parents and Oldandrians. The gurgle of voices and chatter is punctuated by outbursts of laughter. The boys are in their usual stands and are going berserk, shouting their war cries across the field. The opposing side shouts back, and the warble of the pipes playing Highland Cathedral drifts along through it all. Or on the Friday night before, as cold air fills the valley and the astro lights create a cocoon over Webster Field, through the descending mist sounds the distinctive click of ball on stick, and the echoes of our boys cheering can be heard throughout the town. These are not thoughts of things we never had. They're memories of the things that we have had and are building to enjoy again. And I recognize today the role that sport plays in the Andrian life. And when the world shut down, our sports staff really did step up, creating an exercise and appropriate competitive sport program that is world-leading in terms of COVID return to sport protocols. And we pursued sport not just because we love it, which of course we do, and because we think it's good for us, which we know it is, but because the outdoor in the sun benefits makes it an excellent tool in creating a healthy school, both in terms of physical health, but in terms of mental wellness too. And so, far from just being a recreational way to pass a day, sport has many lessons to teach, and we've learnt them well this year. I record my thanks to the entire sporting staff of college. And after 16 years in the role of Director of Sport at college, we say goodbye to Mr. Pete Andrew at the end of this year as he retires to Bushman's River. Pete has enjoyed a remarkable career at college and has presided over an incredibly successful sporting era. But that's not why I mention him here. I do so because in Pete we have a sportsman who recognizes that sport is as much about character as it is about the physical. You won't find a kinder, more compassionate, principled and caring man than Pete Andrew. He's been an outstanding ambassador for St Andrews College. Sport has a fundamental role to play in our embedding of positive psychology into everything that we do. I like the words of Christopher Peterson, who wrote in Psychology Today that positive psychology is the science that studies what makes life worth living. He states that psychological practice should be as concerned with strengths as it is with weaknesses. It's really intuitive, but it's really well research-based too. And that research indicates that positive social relationships are very important for people's flourishing. In other words, people really do matter in terms of our feelings that life is worth living. And what we could consider to be good days appear to have some themes: a feeling of autonomy, feeling competent, and feeling connected to others. I was delighted that this term St Andrews College again hosted the National Conference of the Positive Education Schools Association of South Africa, Flourishing in the Present, with Sir Anthony Selden, Vice-Chancellor of Buckingham University, Mrs. Anne Johnson of Ravenswood School for Girls in Sydney, and Mr. Simon Murray, who's the head of the International Positive Education Network, each of them presenting keynotes. We were treated to the wisdom of some of the biggest names in the field of positive education. It was an absolute treat, and I thank Mr. Craig Kyler for putting it all together. And if the academic life of a school builds the mind and sport the body, it's the cultural life of the school that builds the soul. One of my more unusual lockdown discoveries was the weekly online broadcast of traditional Scottish music by performer Graham Mackay. He performs live on Facebook from a garden shed, which he calls the Cayley Cabin, with a tip box that's powered by PayPal. The obvious lessons on COVID ingenuity and aside, and whatever your views on this rather niche musical genre, and it is pretty niche, it's a beautiful thing to watch Graham reach that deep point of engagement with his music. Absorbed so deeply that musician and music are one, soul and instrument resonant, united in creating something beautiful in my heart, 14,000 kilometers away. Graham writes of his craft that being a musician isn't a hobby, collecting coins is a hobby. Being a musician is a way of life. It's who you are, not merely something that you do. And so I thank the music department for what has been a fantastic year, where necessity has most certainly been the mother of invention, and one where they've embraced every technological trick in the book that the show could go on, and it went on well. So we took a drive from here to Bedford, some college boys and I, and on the way we stopped to admire the view from the top of the Hellspoort Pass. From up there, the landscape paints a homogeneous picture. Trees rendered tiny by perspective, with ancient wagon trails snaking below big skies. Of course, the whole hides the fact that down below lies an incredible ecosystem, ranging from soil mineralogy to incredible animal biodiversity and everything in between. So too, a school is so much more than bricks and mortar. It's a complicated ecosystem, but essentially it's a human enterprise, united by values and legacy to create a space for our boys to flourish. I'm always amazed at how many stakeholders there are in an institution such as college. I think of it not as simply a school, an ecosystem of connectedness. Amy Seidel writes in her book Early Spring, while it's relatively easy to recognize the perennial grasses and seed-eating sparrows as characteristic of meadows, the ecosystems exist in their fullest sense underground. What we see above ground is only the outer margin of an ecosystem that explodes in intricacy and life below. And so it is at college. And at this point, I would like to reflect on the role that has been played by our college parents this year. In an environment where they were facing their own existential crises, the parents of college remained supportive and engaged. And in doing so, they helped carry this institution through one of its greatest challenges to its sustainability for generations. They really are unsung heroes of all of this. And we're similarly blessed with an engaged and proactive council under the fine leadership of Mr. Jacko Maree. We should never take these things for granted. And of course, a reflection on the year without reflecting on the boys in blue would be missing the very ingredient that gives this old place its life and its soul. I've always admired the character of a college boy. There's the brotherhood, of course, and lots of mischief and endless banter. And when a college boy gets into trouble, as they sometimes do, he'll usually own up and take accountability for his actions. But the thing that I admire most is the bounce-back ability of our boys. You can knock a college boy down, but you can't keep him down. And we've seen that in abundance this year. Our boys have been adaptable in the extreme, navigating complex travel arrangements, figuring out new online ways of doing things, quarantining, isolating, coming to terms with sport that we've never experienced before. And indeed, coming to terms with the fact that this year we're simply not able to deliver the milestone events that we so take for granted. In all of this, the boys of college have been superb. In the absence of things to catalogue this year, we have stories of people, and we are blessed with extraordinary ones here. History will show that while 2020 may not have delivered on everything we wanted, the boys of college did. They upheld the true character of the place and can be extremely proud of what they will hand forward to future generations. And they did so without complaint, without self-pity, and with incredible adaptability. And the leadership of Jonathan Shamwana, his team of prefects and leaders, and especially the Matric class of 2020 as a collective, they've been superb. It is easy to be exceptional in good times. These are our times and these are our moments, and we chose not our place in history. History chose us, and these boys can stand proud of what they've created from the cards that they were dealt this year. I have a vision of a young boy entering college, perhaps walking down the pathway under the clock tower. A young boy in an isolated corner of the Eastern Cape, walking into college, but discovering the world. He emerges on the other side a young man, a pioneer ready to take on the world. This is no longer a frontier space. It is instead a gateway of discovery, a symbol of excellence. And part of that requires academic excellence, part of it sporting, and part of it cultural. But most of all, it requires those bonds of brotherhood and a progressive, forward-thinking environment, deeply rooted, but ever-searching. And so what of the future? Well, the future is not some mysterious thing out there that will happen to us. Quite the opposite, in fact. The future of college is here, in this room, and out there, hopefully tuned into this speech. We, as agents of our own destiny, have the ability to turn our canvas into anything we want and create a masterpiece. We must remember, though, that in all that we do and all that we build and achieve, if it's not part of a bigger ethos of giving back, it amounts to nothing. Our life becomes but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour on the stage and then is heard no more, a tale told by an idiot full of sound and fury, but signifying nothing. Our ethos of service requires of us to be contributing, engaged, positive citizens, members of our community, recognizing that it is our community that has made us, and it is to our community that we belong. And as always, in honoring all of this, let us never forget that all that we achieve here is by the grace of God, who has inspired and guided this institution from its inception. Let all that we do in this place honor the blessings that God has bestowed upon us. We find true success when we seek God's plan for us and follow it with passion. And so indeed, college is not just a few acres of buildings or playing fields on West Hill, part of a landscape of a small, isolated Eastern Cape town. It is far more than that. It is a region of belonging and a landscape of the heart. May God bless you, and may God bless St. Andrew's College.
The artwork that we have decided to work on this term is called Hope Springs Eternal. And that proverb kind of links to the idea of optimism, human beings seeking for optimism, seeking for something to look forward to. And we returned to school quite in a very different climate to what we left it. There was stuff going all over the world about different movements, Black Lives Matter. There were issues at home with GBV, and obviously just COVID. And so we kind of wanted to, obviously flowers are very optimistic and kind of like this idea of spring and something rebirth, and that's what we kind of wanted to link it to. And later on we thought that it was a good idea to link it to a movement as well. So we decided to link it to the feminist movement and to just South Africa's climate with GBV. And it's almost a tribute or paying homage to the victims of GBV, and also looking forward to wanting our protest to prevail. We want to see some change in South Africa, and this is our way of showing that. These artworks are 4 different panels, and so each panel will go to a different house in GSG, our sister school, who have been very vocal about the movement, and always have been. And we feel that St Andrews and college hasn't really been too vocal, so we felt that this was needed as well.
Do not forget to send us a message on the hashtag SAC Speech Day 2020 and let us know where you are watching the live stream from. During our Land Rover conversations, we visited some OAs from Bedford, but they have absolutely no idea what a hashtag is, so they sent us this video instead.
Greetings to you all. My name is Ayomide Israel Kimbo, and I am in Mullen's house in grade 11. And to all my old Andrians all around the world, I greet you all and wish you all of God's blessings and prosperities.
Hi, I'm Ken Ross, Upper, left in 1971. Greetings to all the old Andrians dispersed all over the world. Judging from my WhatsApp group, Leavers Next Year, it's amazing to see how many of you are all over the place. Greetings to you all, and also to the school, having had a tough year, no doubt, but all the best.
Good afternoon, I'm Edge White, Upper 1989, 5th generation. To all the old Andrians and old DSG girls all around the world, hope you have a good day. And as a parent, I'd like to congratulate the school and the staff for being a leader in this COVID situation that we have had. College and DSG have certainly gone the extra mile, and our boys and girls have had a wonderful term where most schools didn't go back to school. And I thank Mr. Thompson and the council and all the staff for all their hard work. Thank you.
At the beginning of lockdown, Mr. Osman asked the boys, staff, and Greater Andrian community to write poems and stories and to reflect on their experiences of lockdown. This afternoon, we will be sharing some poems and sketches that were written by the boys over the last couple of months. Videos add another layer of interpretation of each of these, and we invite you to join us in the often messy but creative world of the inscapes of our hearts. Here is the first of the writings that we are presenting this afternoon. Aaron Hepburn's Writing Poetry, Myself as a Poem, explores how we so often write ourselves out of our own story.
That'll be followed by Ben Terry playing the cello, and then our second Land Rover conversation of the afternoon. And coming up later, we'll be looking at some creations by the art department, and then the announcement of the 2021 Head of School and Deputy Head of School.
The pages are crumbled, the writer trying to restart, over and over again. But that's what happens when your life's a mess, and you're busy falling apart. When I see myself as a poem, I see somewhat a beautiful mess, so amazingly distraught. With the writer's ink, he starts my style and his own address. The writer of my poem fills his ink to the brim, which drops on the paper, covering the light of my life, which slowly gets dim. Long vertical lines cross out words, like the ones on my arm, correcting the mistakes, the ones that will only do harm. He writes my thoughts and intentions, but quickly scribbles out the ones that portray sadness and loneliness, the ones I'd be better left without. When I see myself as a poem, I'm the one that will never be seen. I'm the one that won't be missed, the one that maybe, just maybe, could have been. But I'll be the one that was tragically and abruptly dismissed.
I think this year it's been a very interesting one for the Matrics. I know initially when they thought about the lockdown we were all sent home, we thought it would be a short stint.
We've been really blessed because we were able to finish, as Matrics, finish most of our syllabus earlier than we would have, and they've pushed our prelim exams forward, so we learning everything that we will do for finals now. I think another really hard thing that I faced was having been in boarding school, having been at St Andrews for almost 7 years now, was I hadn't been at home for as much as I've been this year, so I really missed school. I missed boarding. Being here for the past, since 2014, has been one of the greatest experiences of my life, and that's what I'm going to miss the most. That's what I missed the most out of this year.
I think now, as to all of us Matrics, I mean, I've had a wonderful time with my grade, and now as we're starting to wrap up, we've gotten through trial exams. I think we've got 3 days left at the time of this, and I think for us the last big push is now our final exams, and I think we're all well prepared. We've we've worked hard. We've been in the fortunate position where we've had a lot of the content covered before the trial exams, and I think as a grade we are more than capable of having a really, really good end to this year. I think we can seriously leave here on a really high note.
Yeah, I just want to wish UX good luck for the final exams.
Thank you for your comments coming through. You can keep those coming in the comment section below. We now come to the first half of the prize givings for this afternoon, the prizes for grade 8s to 11s. It really is a great pleasure to invite Professor Gavin Keaton to hand out the prizes. Professor Keaton has just stepped down from almost 10 years on the council as a representative of St Andrews Prep. He was born in Grahamstown and attended Prep, College and Rhodes University. Professor Keaton is one of the most passionate old preppies and old Andrians you'll ever meet. This is evident through his continued service to our school and his unfailing attendance at college sports events and many other school functions.
Professor Keaton worked at the Development Bank and Standard Bank as an economist for several years, after which he enjoyed a career of over 17 years as the group economist at Anglo American. He then took up the position of professor in the economics department at Rhodes University in 2009, where he has been passionate about education and gone well beyond the call of duty to assist his students wherever possible. It is a great pleasure to have you here this afternoon, Professor Keaton, to hand out the prizes.
The grade 8 to 11 prizes. The grade prize is awarded to the top 5 academic achievers in the year. And the top achiever this year is Benjamin Shamwana, Jonathan's little brother, who's following in his footsteps. He can't be here tonight. But then Murray Wilson, the 4th brother of the many Wilson brothers, and St. Peter's prep boy from many years ago. And then James Barrow, also from St. Peter's in Johannesburg. He's the music scholar, and he is in Graham House. You'll see some of him later. Then Andrew Holmes, a St. David's boy from Johannesburg. And then Aidan Wood from Cape Town, from Wet Pups. Then let's give those graders a round of applause. And then in grade 9, the GBS Mutual Bank grade prize goes to Matthew Poole, who is an old prep boy from Kenton-on-Sea. And then grade prizes go to St. John Cause from Hout Bay. He also went to Wet Pups. And to Matthew House. Matthew House is a Pridwin boy from Joburg. Then David Ball. David Ball, you heard him playing the violin earlier on from the Ridge. And Gregory Miller, also from Pridwin. And Greg is a great trombone player. Let's give those grade 9s a round of applause. And then the prizes for the grade 10s, the GBS Mutual Bank Grade Prize, and prizes for English, Life Orientation, Life Sciences, Mathematics, Music, and Physical Science, Ethan John. And then the prizes for the subject that Ethan didn't take, a grade prize and a prize for history, Aidan Reynolds. A grade prize and a prize for Afrikaans First Additional Language, Joss Hempel. A grade prize to Nick Lane. A grade prize and the prize for Afrikaans Home Language, Design and Visual Art, Liam McNaughton. The Business Studies Prize on Wabila Lisa. The Design Prize, Oliver Langer. Dramatic Arts, Siamkele Ndebele. French First Additional Language, Ishan Panchal. The Geography Prize to Scott Moorcroft. Then Information Technology, Michael Boynton. And that Information Technology Prize shared with Anthony Baker. Then the isiXhosa First Additional Language, Lamlani Yawa. And the Mandarin Prize to Timothy Nasasera. Maths Literacy, Kevin Campbell. And then we get on to the grade 11 prizes, the GBS Mutual Bank Grade Prize, the IGCSE Afrikaans Prize, the AS Level Chemistry Prize, and the AS Level History Prize, Rowan Rosenberg. Then the Grade Prize and the AS Level English Language, AS Level Mathematics, and AS Level Physics, James Stadler. Then a Grade Prize and isiXhosa First Additional Language, Africa Machangana. The Grade Prize and the Accounting Prize, Libongo Mazwana. Afrikaans Home Language Prize to Murray Bauker. The Grade Prize, Life Orientation Prize, and the Prize for Physical Science, Nicholas Holmes. Afrikaans First Additional Language, Aaron Hepburn. Then the AS Level Biology Prize, Mfundelita. Business Studies Prize goes to Jake Boateng Aidu. And the Design Prize to Callum Stokes. The Dramatic Arts Prize, John Tosida. Then English and Visual Arts, Daniel Bradfield. The Advanced Program English Prize and Music Prize to Stuart Christie. French First Additional Language, Neil Karimba. The IGCSE French Prize, Trevor Wabi. And Geography Prize to Kitso Mkhatle. History and Information Technology, Jacob Erasmus. The Life Sciences Prize, Ross Mullins. And then Mathematics, Advanced Program Maths, and Physical Science Prize, Miles Jackson. And then the Maths Literacy Prize, Jack Brown. So well done to all those, and we will come back to the grade 12 and the open prizes later on. Now let's enjoy another Land Rover chat.
So, Kumpani, I hear you play the euphonium. Do you want to tell me a bit more about it?
Yeah, so the euphonium, it looks like a small tuba. You know how a tuba looks like, right? So it's like, that's big. And then when you tone it down a bit, like, I don't know, 2 times, you get a euphonium. It's the same shape and everything. It's just smaller, and also you can play counter melodies with it. So when you're playing in an ensemble or a band, you'll have the main melody, and then the euphonium normally plays counter melodies. So something similar but then different.
Yeah.
You play piano, right?
Yeah, I do. So I'm doing grade 3 level piano this year, and yeah, I'm really hoping that I can excel and keep growing and growing and growing until I can play like all these crazy sonatas. So Kunkani, who do you think will win the Intaus music?
Intaus music. I feel like Grandma's is known for like its culture and things. But then Espen House is entertainment, definitely.
Really? Because, I mean, I have to agree with you to some extent because I really do believe that Graham House is going to win. I mean, I was actually at the practice last night and we were, and the music was really coming together. We started to sound like a proper mini orchestra.
Yes, but then your music is really good, but then you forget that we have like music producers, the ones who like engineer the music, and they can really turn something really bad into something really good.
Oh, you know, the thing is, we have the same, except we're going to turn something really good into something even better.
Wow, okay.
In the second of our poems that were written during lockdown, Africa Much in Ghana explores the idea that when you use our words as a weapon or a shield, it is truth that often suffers.
How? I would ask myself. How can I share? How do I shred myself naked to your judgment? If only you knew how badly I wanted to tell you, I wouldn't be alone anymore. But do you even care? Pain, hurt, misery. Just like a nightmare, all I have is a clouded vision and a mind drowned in mist. Why now? Why search my lips for words impossible to spurt? You say you're here for me, but do you even care? Cheap three little words draped in my hair. But how can I expect you to understand? As I wipe away a shed tear, I recover my thoughts. I'm desolate because of you.
One of the positive outcomes of the pandemic was a generous outpouring of love and support for people who were thrown into destitution through losing their income or into despair through the loss of loved ones.
Community engagement is a key pillar of college life, and we work hard to develop mutually beneficial relationships and partnerships with other schools or organizations in our community. One of these has resulted in the Nombelelo St. Andrews College Academy, and another is our relationship with the Good Shepherd School, which is housed in buildings in Huntley Street that were the classrooms first used by college in 1855 when Upper was still being built. Here is our Community Engagement Officer, Ms. Dumisa Mzaza, to tell us more about the community engagement initiatives together with the two portfolio prefects this year, Michael Faloza and Duncan Muldrum.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dumisa Mzaza, St. Andrews College Community Engagement Officer. Well, today I'm talking to you right in front of Good Shepherd Primary School, one of our partners, and this is the building where actually the college boys used to come to school back in 1855. So our history with Good Shepherd goes a very long time. The pandemic and the COVID-19 actually gave us an opportunity to actually relook at how we do things with our communities and how we can help. And with Good Shepherd and our relationship going through all these years, that gave us an opportunity to review and look at how we actually run our projects with Good Shepherd. Normally we would come on a Monday for Monday clubs, or Good Shepherd kids will actually come to college and run clubs such as football, basketball. But at this point, we had to actually try and react to the need. The need at that point was actually food, because most people actually lost their jobs, and we actually decided to come to Good Shepherd and actually provide some meals, because most of the kids that are actually in Good Shepherd were at home and they get a meal during the day when they're at Good Shepherd. This was an opportunity for us to actually provide that meal while they're at home. What we teach the boys at college is also to react at the current needs. If food is needed, then they will react on that need. If a painting job needs to be done, the boys will come and do that kind of work with the Good Shepherd or St. Mary's or Ntaba Maria. One of the partners that we actually have besides Good Shepherd is Nombulelo Secondary School. We actually run the academy with Nombulelo. And the boys and girls from Nombulelo come in the afternoons, where they also get help with maths and science. The aim there is actually to give them an opportunity to bridge the gap so that they can get matric results that will allow them to get into varsity. During this lockdown, the kids from Nombulelo were not actually at school at all since March. But when college came back to school, we decided that we will bring in the Nombulelo kids. It is about 3 girls and 5 boys that came in, and we actually ran the lessons to try and keep them up to date with their grade 11 work to prepare them for Matric, because these are the grade 11s going to Matric next year. This year would have been a tough one for them, but the academy actually provided that space for them to actually continue with their work throughout the year, so they are prepared for their Matric year next year. One of the most important things that I always instill with the boys at college, I always tell them that one gift, and the most important gift that you can give someone, is the gift of your time. You can spend money, but the gift of your time is much more important. So serving this community and going out in the communities, learning about the communities, and just different people from all walks of life is the gift that these boys actually receive from our communities as well. As much as giving and community engagement is one of our core pillars at college, so it's quite important for the boys to actually be out there with our communities, to actually learn about the communities that we are surrounding college. It is actually very important for them to learn about different cultures and just different people from different walks of life.
My community engagement journey at St. Andrews College started in the first term of grade 8, when I was probably about a foot shorter and a whole lot less intelligent about the world. I've learned so much. It all started here in this room in the KCC. I've learned so much from everyone that I've worked with, from Duncan, from Ms. Pretorius, from Ms. Mzaza. And it's really just been a wonderful experience being able to try and use our position of privilege to give back to the people around us.
I mean, similarly to Michael, my journey also started when I was grade 8, being encouraged to help out in the community, as well as to be involved in things like the President's Award, and just the platforms that we've been available to us at our time at college has just been an incredible opportunity for us to reach out into our community and make a real difference in the world around us. So obviously being incredibly grateful for need to experience that, and just grateful to have experienced all the opportunities that Michael and I have been able to pursue and been able to accomplish here. So very happy to have been involved.
As the Community Engagement Prefect for 2020, we decided to try and focus on a theme for this year that was, and obviously our plans were, as everyone's were curtailed a bit by the coronavirus, but we really wanted to focus on the theme of education, as we really felt that it was a root of a large portion of inequality in our country. And it started where we used the funds we raised at Smiley last year to buy school shoes for a bunch of students at Good Shepherd. Later on in the year, we ran fundraisers, and we ended up using that money now during the coronavirus pandemic to sponsor a bunch of students with food. Another one of our ongoing projects has been a food drive that we've run in collaboration with Mr. Mackenzie, where he has gone and provided sandwiches to homeless people in Grahamstown, and also actively driving a litter pickup project at the same time.
And as Michael mentioned with regards to the funds we used to purchase the shoes, those are kids that have to walk to school every day barefoot, and being able to give back to the community in such a meaningful way through such a simple idea just really shows you how we can all be very grateful for the blessings that we do have, and that sometimes the biggest steps are the most incremental ones. So an incredible project, one of many we've been a part of, and one of many that I look back on with great fondness.
Yeah, and I hope I can speak for the both of us when I say that, it's just been the most amazing part of my experience at St Andrews, being able to work with the people on the committee and everyone around us. And I honestly, I don't think I'd change a single bit of it
as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Jacko Maree has been the chairman of the College Council since 2014. He was the Chief Executive Officer of the Standard Bank Group, South Africa's largest bank, for 13 years. On his retirement in 2013, after working for Standard Bank for 32 years, he was recognized as one of the top 20 most influential businessmen in Africa. But more importantly, he had been voted South Africa's most trusted CEO for 3 successive years, from 2007 to 2009. Recently, President Ramaphosa invited Mr. Maree to be one of his 4 special investment envoys to raise $100 billion of foreign investment in South Africa over 5 years.
But who was Mr. Maree when he was at college? He was a prefect in Upper House who matriculated in 1972. He played in the first 15 rugby and first 11 cricket. He won the hurdles and was also a good swimmer and golfer. He was awarded a proficiency tie and achieved academic honors every year in his high school career. In Matric, he placed first in the nation in the JMB examinations. He did a post-matric at college in 1973, where he was head of school and head of Upper House.
He studied a BCom at Stellenbosch University and was then selected as St. Andrews College's Rhodes Scholar to Oxford University in 1978, where he did an MA in philosophy, politics, and economics. At Oxford, Mr. Maree obtained his Golf Blue. Mr. Maree epitomizes service to college as chairman of council and as one of its most generous benefactors, and also serving his country as a special investment envoy.
In one of his reports at college, this was written about him, and every college boy should strive to have this written about him. He has achieved wonders and remained modest, sincere, sympathetic, understanding, and kept both feet on the ground. He should go far. We are privileged to have our Chairman of Council, Mr. Jacko Maree, address us today.
Good afternoon to all our current pupils, parents, and the wider Andrian community who are watching this magnificent online speech day. I'm sitting here in Johannesburg. So there's a thunderstorm that's just passed through, beautiful summer's day, and I haven't been to my office in Rosebank, 10 kilometers away, much less the Eastern Cape, since the middle of March. But I've used lots of Zoom links and done more college interaction than I would normally do remotely. Thank you for those kind and slightly embarrassing words, Matt and Robbie. As I've said on many occasions, the single most important thing my parents ever did for me was to decide that I should come to college for my senior schooling. I had absolutely no say in the matter. My father had no links with college, but having visited all the obvious alternative schools, was absolutely convinced that St. Andrews was the right choice. He felt that St. Andrews was not only a great school, but being a boarder would shape me, and importantly, that I would also be inculcated with the down-to-earth values of the Eastern Cape. And how right he was. My time at college shaped my entire life. And apart from marrying a DSG old girl, I've also maintained many deep personal friendships which were established at school 50 years ago. St. Andrews is a truly remarkable institution, and you boys are privileged to be experiencing a world-class, all-round education which most people on the planet can only dream of. Never forget that. Our job as the council is to ensure the long-term sustainability of the school for future generations. Of course, we also have to worry about current issues and events, but our main objective is to remain a relevant institution as our society, our country, our continent, and the world changes. Parents have a choice of many other excellent schools, so we are always competing to attract boys. If we cling to past traditions and practices and do not grow and adapt to changing times, we run the real risk of losing our relevance, reputation, and position in the market, which has been built painstakingly over 165 years. In this regard, the Council is totally supportive of the Headmaster in terms of creating contemporary traditions and positive rites of passage, whilst acting firmly against all forms of bullying. The Black Lives Matter movement sparked outrage, outpourings of anger and emotion regarding racism, discrimination, and the lack of sufficient transformation of important institutions in society around the world. The consciousness that has emerged has fundamentally recalibrated our transformation and diversity efforts, and this is a good thing. The notion of historical and current racism, whether covert, overt, implicit, or institutional, has sparked debate around racism specifically, but also around belonging more generally. It has been an intriguing journey, and we have engaged constructively with OAs who've reached out to us and also formed a Transformation and Diversity Committee of Council, as Mr. Thompson referred to, on which Old Andrians are represented. The financial viability of college and prep will always be a matter of critical importance to our long-term sustainability. The single most important variable in this regard is pupil numbers, and in particular, the number of boarders at the school. The difficult economic conditions of recent years have made schools like us, or like ours, unaffordable for many parents who would previously have considered St. Andrews for their boys' education. Our offering is a comprehensive one, enabling boys to pursue so many different academic, sporting, and other interests as we've seen exhibited today. But this all comes at substantial cost. There is very little further scope to cut our costs without damaging the standard and breadth of our offering. We are not a wealthy school, as many assume. We do have investments as a result of many years of bequests, donations, and campaigns, such as at the time of our 150th anniversary. The income from these investments supports scholarships, bursaries, and the ongoing maintenance of our historic infrastructure. With an expense base of 140 million rand, which is largely fixed, college and prep's finances are always delicately balanced. We do not have reserves to fund operating losses, and any significant new projects require fundraising. Our projection for the current year is that we should manage to break even, in large part thanks to the commitment of our parent body, who have overwhelmingly continued paying their school fees, despite the horrendous conditions. Many other schools have not been so fortunate. My deep appreciation goes to all parents who have stayed the course, sometimes at great personal sacrifice. There were also heroic efforts by the school management to reduce costs, and our teaching and administrative staff forfeited their annual salary increase, which was then passed back to parents as a cost saving. 2021, next year, will present additional challenges as we expect a smaller than normal intake of new boys for very understandable reasons in the current circumstances. So in summary, the school's financial position is sound but not comfortable, and we cannot afford a misstep. We are therefore not planning any significant capital projects next year as we keep our belts tight. Thankfully, we now have a magnificent campus, so a standstill on new capital projects for a year or two will not hurt us. Of interest to parents visiting their boys is the fact that the 6 hey-ho flats adjacent to the Highlander have been beautifully extended and renovated during lockdown, providing luxury accommodation and an additional source of revenue for the school after servicing the cost of the additional debt which was incurred. The Highland itself is also under new management and has recently reopened. Special thanks go to John Dovey, Bryn and Debbie Brody, Rob Beer, Peter Salter, Simon White, Carol Muirhead, and Paula Spurden for getting us to this point. Alan Thompson has spoken at length about our response to the COVID crisis. Observing our teams in action as they came to terms with a huge number of new challenges gave me a renewed appreciation of the loyalty and dedication of our staff members. They went beyond the call of duty and did whatever was required of them. Our staff have truly gone the extra mile, and for that we all owe them an enormous debt of gratitude. Throughout all the turmoil, Alan Thompson has been a calm, practical, and energetic force. We are indeed fortunate to have him as our headmaster. The council serves selflessly and without recognition or reward, and I would like to thank all our council members for their valuable contributions. 3 council members are stepping down. Gavin Keaton, who you've seen and heard about today, has been an exceptional local voice on council, having been chairman of the Old Prep Association and also being treasurer of the Old Andrian General Committee. In 4 years, Gail Jelly has completely upgraded and transformed our human resources capabilities and practices. And Simon Ridley has controlled the school purse strings wisely and professionalized all aspects of financial management in his 7-year tenure as honorary treasurer. I'm most grateful for what these special individuals have done for our schools. Thank you. I now look forward to the rest of today's proceedings.
to Texas, eh?
Yeah, university in Texas. Not sure where.
Yeah, to study what?
To study medical. Well,
Oh,
I went to medical school, but since the American system is quite different, so you have to do 4 years of college in your preferred field, and that's when you use that to apply for medical school.
Yeah.
Which is now 7 years, 10 years of your life. So.
Where do you see yourself?
Well, I see myself a neurosurgeon. I really see myself there.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, that's my specialty that I want to go into. But it comes with time. I can't be sure yet. Maybe I'll lose my interest. That was my dream because I was quite young.
But your marks are good, eh?
Looking good. A levels.
I am told that Graham is going to win the in-house music. Is that right?
Yes, sir. We will definitely.
Yeah, we don't have a chance. I'm not gonna lie.
Not?
I'm not gonna lie. We don't have a chance.
I don't think anybody in our
we've
got a
house
beautiful
plays music.
We've got a full ensemble of many instruments and it's really coming along nicely.
Because we've got the most random instruments. We have drums, we have brass, we have strings. And how are you gonna put that together? Piano, vocals.
But there is a solo section, is there?
Yeah, we made a makeshift choir. Trust me, it's not that good.
A makeshift choir.
I've noticed that this year, like, houses are more important because last year, I barely knew who was in my house. But then now, I know everyone who's in my house.
Yeah,
I think the houses are great. It's like more of a tight family and then the rest are more like loose relatives. That makes sense.
That's just the cousin.
Yeah.
And it'll last you forever. You know, you'll be at some reunion in 30 years' time, and you'll still be Espen sitting at a table and reminiscing about all the things you got up to.
Art is a way of expressing myself. Art is a way of putting myself out there. Art is a way of knowing that I can never be perfect. And that is great because I can always improve. I can always be the better version of myself.
We were given an underlying theme of Ubuntu for our first project. I wanted to take that and morph it into my own beliefs. I was thinking more of the subconscious or unconscious human connection that we all share, and I wanted to depict that in my art.
My Ubuntu's theme dealt with political figures that have changed and influenced our lives today. I chose 6 different figures. I wanted to highlight the impact that they may have had before we were even born.
The first one was Ubuntu, and I looked at my relationship with the outdoors, and so I spoke, I am who I am because of the time I've spent outside in my garden at home, the time I've put into propagating clivias and succulents. And for my final, the 2020 vision, I looked at doing bees, and the link running through there was this idea of nature and how bees are such a vital part of our global biodiversity and supporting and sustaining it. So I think my project running theme is about how we as people are custodians of nature. We have a responsibility to it because we are so dependent on it.
Art has made me more self-conscious and has allowed me to develop in a way that I don't think I would have if I didn't take art. It's opened up a creative side that I never knew I had.
I would say my major influences for this year, it was less of specific art movements, but more of the times. Like some of the graffiti works are more influenced by protest graffiti. but my final artworks are heavily influenced by Japanese art, so more Eastern art. Creativity is something that's definitely important no matter where you go in life in the future, and art is a good way to train that creativity.
It is incredibly diverse. You know, there's so much you can do here. You have so much freedom. I mean, look, I'm doing 3D art. We are diversifying more and more and more, and I feel like we made a lot of breakthroughs this year in terms of, you know, the realization of digital art and, you know, how accessible these things are. And I feel like the syllabus is adapting, so it's definitely welcome for everyone. There is so much you can learn and do. As long as you have a passion for art and you're willing to try new things or just do what you're passionate about, you're allowed to. It's an open platform for anyone to express themselves in any way they choose. So yeah, I'd definitely recommend it to anyone who wants to, you know, try art.
And now we come to the prizes for the grade 12s. The GBS Mutual Bank grade prize and prizes for accounting, life sciences, mathematics, that's the G.W. Lucas prize, and then the Great Head prize for physical science, Jonathan Shamwana. And then a grade prize and the prize for A-level biology, Hayden John. A grade prize and the prizes for Afrikaans first additional language and dramatic art, Michael Stavridis. The grade prize and prizes for English, geography and visual art, Philip Bainan. Then the grade prize and prize for life orientation and advanced program mathematics, Jordan van der Meulen. A grade prize and their prizes for A-level history and the Arthur Matthews Prize for A-level mathematics, Michael Velosa. The Business Studies Prize, Ryan Waddle. Computer Applications Technology, Courtney Mackay. The A-level Chemistry and A-level Physics Prize, Matthew Schaefer. The Design Prize, Richard Morris. The A-level English Language Prize, Elliot Apps. And the A-level English Literature Prize, Jonathan Schiemer. The prize for Advanced Program English, Duncan Meldrum. Then French First Additional Language, Pascal Boulay. And Brady Hennigan wins the A-level Geography Prize. And Robert Kirkpatrick the History Prize. Matt Ferguson wins the Information Technology Prize, which he shares with Robert Schoen. Then isiXhosa First Additional Language, Ayake Mahashi. And the prize for Mandarin First Additional Language, Alexander Prumbridge. Mathematical Literacy, Daniel Zahn. Music, Lukaniso Bomela. And then Justin Stoddard gets the A-level Music Prize. Then we go to the general and open prizes. and the music, the choir prize, Philip Bainan. The music instrumental prize, Lukanyiso Bomela. The junior art prize, Noah D'Amato. And then the best senior artwork, Max McLeod. Good, and then we go on to the open prizes. The Anthony Clark plates for high academic achievers and the most impressive all-rounders in grade 8 to 11. Grade 8 Anthony Clark plate goes to James Barrow. And grade 9 Anthony Clark plate to St. John Cause. The grade 10 Anthony Clark plate, Ethan John. And then grade 11, Africa Machingana. The Roland Craig Music Award goes to Jonathan Moremi. And then this beautiful paper Nautilus trophy. This is the Mevrou Anne Jacobs Mathematician of the Year prize to Michael Maloza. The Anderson History Essay Prize goes to Liam Nisbet. And the Pell Edmonds English Essay Prize to Michael Stavridis. The Coupland English Literature Prize to Jonathan Shamwana. And then the Webb English Essay Prize for Advanced Program English, Duncan Meldrum. The Senior English Lightfoot English Prize for Debating is awarded to Michael Velosa. And the Junior Lightfoot English Prize for Debating to St. John Cause. And then, as you would have seen this afternoon, the poetry of Aaron Hepburn, and he wins the Dr. G.H.M. Bobbins Poetry Prize. Then the Preparatory School English Narrative Prize is shared with Matthew Thompson. And James Mackenzie. The Theodore Cornish Prize for Classics this year goes to Ian Meerhuizen. And the Harker Ivama French Essay Prize to Arthur Turner. The Louis Botha Afrikaans Essay Prize for Home Language goes to Liam McNaughton. And then the Louis Botha Afrikaans Essay Prize for First Edition Language and the Redenaars Competitie Senior First Edition Language, Robert Kirkpatrick. The Redenaars Competitie winner for the Senior Home Language boy is Ethan John. And then the Junior Redenaars Competitie winner and the Junior Colonel A. Maree Memorial Prize for Spoken Afrikaans, the Junior Prize, Julius Rocher. The Colonel A. Maree Memorial Prize for Spoken Afrikaans for Senior Home Language, Heinrich van Deventer. And the Colonel A. Maree Memorial Prize for Spoken Afrikaans for First Additional Language, Martin Wolmerans. Then Ayake Mahashi, he wins the prize for spoken isiXhosa home language. And then the prize for spoken isiXhosa first additional language, and the John Hewitt Prize for Life Sciences, Jonathan Shamwana. The T.C. White Natural History Prize for the Best A-Level Science Student in Grade 12 goes to Hayden John. And the T.C. White Natural History Prize for the Best A.S. Science Student in Grade 11, Rowan Rosenberg. The J.O. Clogg Memorial Cup for Design, Carl Thomas. And the Michael Reynolds Memorial Prize for Design, Matthew Poole. The N. Steele Gray Undle Creative Design Prize goes to Tane Hotzenberg. And then I just want to talk about the next prize a little bit, because I know that that the family of Dennis John Claude are watching this transmission this afternoon. And Dennis John Claude matriculated from college in 1950, and he died in 2015. And he always spoke of his time at college with great fondness, and he was particularly influenced by the headmaster of the time, Dr. Ronald Curry, and his art teacher, Mrs. Ginn. He graduated as an architect from University of Natal, where he later taught construction and history of architecture for many years, and while he was also running a private architectural practice. And it was his wish that an annual prize of 5,000 Rand be established in his name at St. Andrews College for 5 years only. And we're in the fourth of those 5 years this year. It started in 2017. And the Dennis John Claude Creative Design Prize is awarded to a grade 10 or 11 boy who has a heart for design. So it's not necessarily the top design student. It's a boy who shows potential, strong work ethic, perseverance and grit. And for the second year in a row, Jeffrey Cole wins the Dennis John Claude Creative Design Prize. Well done. And then the Anne Green Plate for Speakers, Jonathan Shamwana. And the Anne Green Trophy for Acting, Thomas Stavridis. The John Dermot Lardner Burke Memorial Prize for Current Affairs, the Senior Award goes to Matthew Schaefer. And the Wyndham Lardner Burke Memorial Prize for Current Affairs, the Junior Prize goes to Matthew Poole. Then we're going to award a couple of PB Norton prizes now, and these are awarded to house prefects who have led by example and succeeded academically and made an appreciable extramural contribution to school life. And so these PB Norton prizes go to Duncan Meldrum, Jordan van der Meulen, Lukanyiso Bamela, Justin Stoddard, Ayaka Mahashi, and Thabo Sihele. Then the Gauteng Parent Group Awards are awarded to one junior boy and one senior boy not receiving another prize at Speech Day and who have given of their best all through their school year. And the senior award, the Senior Gauteng Parent Group Award this year goes to Marcus Benedel. And the junior award goes to Liamam Koninchi. The prize for perseverance is awarded to a boy who's been most impressive in carrying on and not giving up in the face of difficult challenges. And that this year goes to Likona Rolashi. The Canon Hugh Harker tankard for community service is awarded to, in this case you would have met them earlier on in the afternoon, Michael and Duncan, the boys who've made most significant service contribution to the wider community, particularly outside St Andrews, although service within the campus is not excluded. And this tankard was originally given to the then college chaplain, the Reverend Hugh Harker, by college pupils whom he had taken on an overseas tour. And so, well done to Duncan Meldrum and Michael Velosa. And the Delport Cup, this trophy is awarded to a top academic who has consistently achieved honours throughout his school career and has excelled in at least 2 first-team sports. And so the Delport Cup this year goes to Matthew Schaefer. And then the last of the individual prizes, the Old Mutual Cup. This prestigious award is made to a grade 12 boy who's not a college prefect. And it is awarded to the boy who's made the most marked contribution to college in many spheres. It's academic, societies, cultural and sport. And this year, so deservedly, Michael Velosa. And then we go on to the 3 house trophies that we award at Speech Day. And the Mitford Barberton Inter-House Art Trophy is retained by Graham House and will be collected for Graham by Philip Bainan. And I know that they were pipped at the post last year, and Graham House have been longing to win this one, the Templeton Inter-House Work Trophy. So Head of House, Rhys Galloway, well done, Graham House. And then last year we introduced a new trophy. It's a sort of an overall inter-house trophy because college boys probably identify more strongly with their houses than with St Andrews College. And they are first an Esplanite or a Graham boy. And the strong house culture is manifested in well over 20 different inter-house events that occur each year. And all these events are aggregated into 3 equally weighted pillars of sport, culture, cultural activities and academics. And then we keep a rolling trophy, a rolling tally of these events starting from tomorrow or from the cross-country event that will be run after half term and right through to Speech Day next year. And so this year, with Upper and Espen and Armstrong all scrambling around for the runner-up spot, and very closely, I might say, the Inter-House Trophy by a country mile, and not to labour the point, but leaving everyone in the dust, and easily a quantum of 20% above everybody else, with more points than any other house. So certainly a satisfactory margin. Graham House retained it. Well done, Graham. Thank you. And now we're going to look at some artworks of this prize-winning artists.
And your strange Matric year? What have you missed the most of it?
Sure. I think that's a difficult question, sir. It's been... I think I'm probably going to miss the most looking back is just the fact that you've had so much less time with all your friends. And I mean, those things mean, we've missed things like the sports season, we've missed things like... I mean, all the big things that kind of mark Matric year, all the lasts never happened.
Yeah.
I think for me, there's something almost special now, like the fact that you don't actually need them, because all the memories are with like people in your dorm, and I think when we've had that, we've had a very different Matric experience. I feel I've actually gotten to know a lot of people a lot better. I think initially I was quite disappointed how the year was turning out. I think after last term and this term, I think it's been a really good year in a lot of sense as well. I think to say it was a kind of a wasted year is just not doing anything justice. I think we have a lot of time to grow as actual people, and I think that lots of things have been done, even if it's just laying things going forward. I think it's been a really good year. There might be a lot to show for it in years to come, maybe not right now.
Another thing is like most of my friends don't live in the country, so when we came back the first time, it wasn't that great, but like now all my friends are back, so we still have some time to chill, make the memories before we have to leave.
Yeah.
Just a reminder to please use hashtag SAC Speech Day 2020 and let us know where in the world you're watching our live stream from.
In the last of our COVID poems called Woolworths and the Steering Wheel, Stuart Christie invites you to unmask the fear that lies beyond the cleared out toilet paper shelves. This will be followed by the highly anticipated address by our head of school, Jonathan Shamwana. And soon thereafter, the headmaster will be announcing the new head of school for 2021.
Although I cannot see their mouths, I can feel their frowns fueled by the fear that we all share. All of their faces are glowing. It's not that glow that they talk about in movies, when someone's pregnant or just had sex. It's the lights reflecting and refracting off of the beads of sweat that are dripping down their faces. Is it a sweat that comes from the heat of the mask hugging their faces? Or is it a sweat from the fear of contracting the plague that has terrorized us all? My eyes are darting around the produce aisle as I am looking for the avocados, but so is the mother standing next to me. I'm trying to find them before she does. Because I know that if we both reach out at the same time to grab the same avocado, it might entail the touching of skin and the cry of, "Don't touch me! What the hell is wrong with you?" And with that, the rest of the darting eyes in the room coming to a standstill, resting on me. Now I'm just freaking out. My hands are twitching, and my body is swaying back and forth like the pendulum on a grandfather clock. When will it stop? I know I have no control over what comes next, and especially what the future holds for me in this time that we are living in. Until now, I've been trying to find something that I can hold on to create some sort of comfort. My futile attempt to hold on to my normal life and the stability of my mental health is the same as holding on to a kiddie steering wheel like the one Maggie Simpson has in the intro of The Simpsons. The steering wheel is comforting to hold on to. Swerving left and right and beeping the horn a couple times feels good until you crash. It convinces you that you're in control, no matter the fact that, deep down, you know you aren't. Because you may be holding the wheel, but you're not sitting in the front seat. There's something bigger driving the car that is your future. And in this moment, in the produce aisle of Woolworths, I feel like whoever it is that's in control is driving me into a brick wall.
Thank you very much, Professor Keaton. Please could you come up and give and accept this small token of our appreciation. Good afternoon, Mr. and Mrs. Maree, members of council, honored guests, staff, parents, and boys. You take half a step out of the Port Elizabeth International Airport, and everything from your suitcase to the parting in your hair gets swept aside by the unforgiving wind. You throw your bags into the bus in the most erratic fashion and dart back into the terminal building to buy some overly priced sweets that, truth be told, don't even taste that nice, but are just one of the things customary with airport travel. You walk down the aisle of the bus, picking up fragments of scandalous holiday stories that you definitely weren't meant to hear. And you see in your peripheral vision various multicolored ties, badges, and blazers. You make your way to the back of the bus because you're finally in Matric and take a seat. You drive past the smelly stretch on the N2 and hear somebody say, "No, Oaks, who farted?" You've heard it a million times before, but you choose to entertain it anyway. An hour later, not far out from Makanda, you drive past the familiar rock face that's so synonymous to returning to school. With this asymmetrical, corrugated body that stretches from ground to sky, it looks at you, assuring you of the great term to come. As you enter Makanda and begin driving through the hilly streets, the distinct smell of age and tradition gains prominence by the second, accentuated by the buildings that somehow look newer and more beautiful with every crack and blemish. You drive up Somerset Street, and as you approach the roundabout, you prepare yourself for the long, deep, synchronized sigh as the driver takes a left towards DSG instead of parking outside Upper. Nonetheless, you enthusiastically hop out of the bus as if you're a professional footballer arriving at the stadium. Except instead of fans chanting your name and the clicking of a dozen camera flashes, you've got the rumble of 100 suitcases being pulled along the path. No, it's not the Emirates Stadium, but it sure does feel like a fortress. You arrive at the door of your house, pause for a moment, and think to yourself, it's August. Where has all the time gone? Where has all the time gone? As much as I'd love to, and believe me, I would love to, pretend that this year has been a compilation of triumphs and big celebrations, I'd be doing both you and I a massive disservice. I pride myself on being a very optimistic person, but I think the problem with optimism, or the version of optimism that we've all adopted this year rather, is that our attempts of finding a silver lining have evolved into blatant rejections of the things that are so obviously negative. Statements like, there were 50,000 new positive cases yesterday, are being met with, at least we know we're testing lots of people. This environment that we're cultivating can be summed up by a relatively new oxymoron, toxic positivity. As well-intentioned as these optimistic remarks are, they reinforce the idea that the best way, or the only way, to cope with a bad situation is to put a positive spin on it and not give the negative any thought. And so instead of denying the fact that this year was anticlimactic in many regards, and it left some indelible marks on the lives of many, let's call it what it is, and only then can we really progress. This year was a train smash. In fact, many would tell you that the word train smash is very euphemistic. Every year has a few defining moments, but the past 9 months have contained so many paradigm-shifting, world-changing developments that it's hard to believe. COVID-19 aside, George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and 160 other African Americans were killed by those who are paid to serve and protect. A deadly explosion occurred in Beirut, killing hundreds and causing extensive suffering. Australia basically burned to the ground, and the list goes on. However, as much as efforts of toxic positivity would be a great disservice to you, so would completely neglecting the lessons available to us all. Here are 3 lessons that 2020 has taught me about myself, college, and how those two things interact with each other. The first lesson I learned this year: seek discomfort. Being at such an amazing school, we have the liberty of comfort. There are many hardships that people right on our doorstep in Macondo have to face daily that many of us haven't even considered, let alone experienced. Whether that be necessities like constant access to water in the midst of a drought, or the more glamorous things like having a range of tutors and world-class professionals at your disposal. Don't get me wrong, all of these are privileges that accumulate to give us that feeling of comfort, put us in an optimal position to achieve unimaginable heights of success, hence privileges. But the most important word in that sentence is position. Think of it a bit like a Formula 1 race. You can have the most impressive car of the 20 on the track, a powerful engine, robust and durable tires, the lightest frame, the most efficient pit crew, all of these things enabling you to drive the fastest time lap on the Saturday, meaning you'll start in pole position on race day. Yet you can end up 3rd on the podium because you let your diet slip that week. Many people are familiar with Murphy's Law. Everything that can go wrong will go wrong. I'm sure this has been attributed to 2020 several times. However, not many people are familiar with Manson's Law. Manson's Law states that the more something threatens your identity, the more you will avoid doing it. Let me repeat that. The more something threatens your identity, the more you will avoid doing it. After occupying a space like St. Andrews College for a while, your identity consists of notions such as, I'm not lazy, I just find it helpful when you boys blow my nose for me. Or, I went to 2 early morning sessions, now I have to make the squad. Notions like this put you in a dangerous position in which you trick yourself into believing that you've won the race, when really, you've just revved the engine a couple times. If it's a race win you're in search of, you have to do the things that challenge your identity, that make you truly uncomfortable. And of course, for every car, there's a massive team of engineers that often go under the radar. That being said, I can't think of a more appropriate time than now to express my gratitude to all of the staff members. Kitchen, cleaning, maintenance, teaching, administrative, and pastoral staff all included, for building us this car. It's because of your relentless work and dedication that we are the Mercedes of the boarding school world, that we can show up to every race with the desire of pole position. Conversely, thank you to all of the DSG girls across the road and the DSG staff that teach and mentor boys for keeping us on our toes and pushing us to seek discomfort. Through the resurgence of the Black Lives Matter and gender-based violence protests, you've challenged us to challenge ourselves, to dissect the various areas of our privilege and really work towards a more equal environment. College and DSG don't always get it right, but this year we displayed unity in separation. Charlotte and Oyama, the two of you are an unwavering force, and I've got so much admiration for the shift you put in this year. The second lesson I learned this year: take on responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility, the cliched proverb that we've all either heard or used, whether it was the closing line of a leadership forum or the anecdote in your life orientation essay. However, when you invert the sentence, swapping the two nouns, I believe you're left with a lesson that's far more profound. With great responsibility comes great power. The biggest distinguishing factor between the college boy that is characterized by mediocrity and the college boy that is truly fulfilled is the amount of responsibility they accept for the things that happen in their life. Many people are reluctant to take responsibility for the problems because they believe that to be responsible for your problems is to also be at fault for your problems. Let me give you an example. Johnny frequently lifts weights, but due to the pandemic, all gyms are closed. Disappointed about this, Johnny decides that he'll just have to take a 3-month hiatus from exercising. However, James, who also frequently lifts weights, decides to take it upon himself to buy some dumbbells and a pull-up bar and exercise at home. Neither Johnny nor James were at fault for the gyms being closed, but James took on the responsibility of fixing the problem. We see this around campus every day in the boy who just doesn't have enough time to get President's Award hours, or the boy who says he will never be good at rugby because 14C just have the worst coaches. If you want to break free from mediocrity and become that truly fulfilled college boy, it's time you stop delegating fault and start taking responsibility. The third lesson I learned this year: pause. One morning a couple weeks ago, I was beginning to feel overwhelmed by all of the end-of-year formalities, so I decided to go on a walk around campus. I stagger to the basketball courts. The intoxication of having just woken up forces me to think meticulously about every step. Right foot, left foot, right foot. I reach the middle of the court and pause. The sky is draped with deep oranges and soft blues, each shade mingling with the rest at the horizon. I hear the echoes of college war cries and can't tell whether a game is happening at these ungodly hours or if the war cries simply sink into the lower stands at the final whistle and live quietly until the next fixture arrives. I raise one arm to eye level and notice how cold air has littered countless dots of equal size across my forearm. I start to pay close attention to my breath. With every inhale, I feel more at ease, as if college air is purer and richer than air elsewhere. I'm completely submerged in all of these acute sensations until the dinging of the clock tower interjects. It's 6 a.m. That day turned out to be one of my most enjoyable days of the year, all because of what I did before 6 a.m. I paused. It's no secret that the life of a college boy is a busy life. From the moment you wake up in the morning and head for the showers, to the moment you close the curtains and head to sleep, you're preoccupied with tasks right down to the minute. It is for this very reason that a single boy is able to excel academically, play intricate pieces on the piano, play competitive sport, tackle issues of transformation, while still being a social butterfly. The whole idea of being a complete androgen is premised on this fast-paced hustle culture that we have. However, it's so easy to get caught up in trying to achieve this and get that you end up losing something very important: perspective. When you pause and reflect on your surroundings, you gain perspective on all that you do. The enormity of the campus makes you realize how trivial some of the issues are. The stillness observed makes you realize that you haven't been spending much time on yourself lately. When you pause, you tap into a newfound self-awareness that allows you to do more in the day-to-day than ever before. Seek discomfort, take on responsibility, and pause. In an idealistic world, human life would be a series of inputs and outputs, like a formula. And if you could figure out which inputs to change, you could make calculated decisions that would result in you living your desired life. But it's not like that. You could deploy all 3 of the lessons I spoke on today and still end up with the train smash of a year. So why teach lessons at all? The position. Similarly to my Formula 1 analogy, an outcome is never guaranteed, but you want to be in the most optimal position to achieve that outcome. In my New Boy address at the beginning of the year, I quoted Mr. Thompson from one of his 2019 newsletter entries, and it's certainly worth repeating. Mr. Thompson wrote, "Like a gracious old oak, deeply rooted and with thick protective bark, but at the same time bright with that exuberant spring leaf, such is the juxtaposition of honoring legacy and tradition, but not being stuck in the past. One of the great dilemmas of the 12,000 boys that have passed through college is trying to hold on to our strong values and heritage, yet be progressive and script our own journeys. This year's Transformation and Diversity Committee have worked relentlessly to try and find that balance. The circumstances weren't ideal, but through the organization of the My Black History event, the My LGBT++ History event, a series of Zoom calls in which we discussed pertinent issues such as gender-based violence, and a range of other projects, the Transformation and Diversity Committee established itself as one that must be at the core of everything we do. Mr. Thompson, thank you very much for not only being supportive, but also being actively involved in these efforts. Mrs. Portkita, I'm eternally grateful for the platform you provided us with to do so much in such a short space of time. You continuously injected us with energy and were a great mentor to us along the way. There's still a great deal of work to be done, but when isn't there? Transformation and diversity and finding that balance at large is a perpetual process. There is no end point. No point when we sit down, donning a look of contentment and say that our work here is done, but rather an equilibrium point that changes every so often and requires us to follow suit. So to the St. Andrews College stayers, today's pioneers of colleges tomorrow, take the 3 lessons that I mentioned: seek discomfort, take on responsibility, pause, as well as the momentum that we've all created this year, and work towards a more progressive, inclusive, and successful St. Andrews College. To the Matrics of 2021, to whom we hand over, I wish you nothing but the best. Remember, it matters not which people were selected as leaders, because your superpower next year will be banding together and leading, even if there's no title next to your name. I've got no doubt that you'll lead with compassion, passion, and empathy, and from that will come the continuation of college's great legacy. Finally, the part I've been waiting for. To my Matric counterparts with whom I've walked beside for the past 5 years. When I sat down to write this speech, I made myself 3 very clear promises. I won't make a cliched reference to get a haircut or running out of underwear. I won't quote Stormzy or any of my favorite grime artists, and I won't, by any means, cry. We're approaching the end, and I've kept all 3 of them. Let's hope nothing changes. What I find so fascinating about literature, whether that be a bedtime story or a novel, is that when you revisit the words years later, they can mean something entirely different. Upon rereading the novel Everything, Everything by Nicola Yoon a couple weeks ago, one very short page resonated with me far deeper than before. It reads, I read once that on average, we replace the majority of our cells every 7 years. Even more amazing, we change the upper layer of our skin every 2 weeks. If all the cells in our body did this, we'd be immortal. But some of our cells, like the ones in our brains, don't renew. They age and age us. And so there will come a time very soon when my skin will have no memory of shaking your hands or embracing in your arms. Those moments will exist only in my brain. We can have immortality or the memory of touch, but we can't have both. But because of the relationships we forged and the subsequent blue blood gushing through our veins, you boys are everything, everything.
The South African rock band Just Ginger has been entertaining audiences since 1996. The song What He Means was written and first performed in 2006, and nobody could have predicted how pertinent the lyrics would be 14 years later, in the midst of a pandemic. The opening verse sets the tone, speaking of grace and light, and the song goes on to encourage us to practice peace, love, and tolerance for one another, as well as to have faith and trust in God.
Please join us in celebrating the talents of our chamber choir, string orchestra, wind orchestra, and contemporary band performing this beautiful song, which has been arranged by Eddie Clayton in different locations around our campus.
If there is peace in this world, if there is light on this earth, let us use it. Let us see it. Starting right now. Can we be down with ourselves? Respectful and mindful of one another. About a stir of compassion and lenience? What about some understanding? What about some sympathy? Peace, love, war, tolerance, faith, hope, trust in the same God.
my great honor to be able to announce the head of school and the second head of school for 2021. I'll start by reminding us of the various heads and second heads of houses and then make the announcement of head of school. In upper for 2021, the head of house is Malibongwe Nkosi, the second head of house and additional college prefect, Oliver Rose. In Merriman, the head of house, William Stewart, and second head of house, Samuel Francis. In Armstrong, the head of house, Jake Boating Adu, and second head of house, Stuart Christie. In Espen, the head of house, Libonga Mazwana, and second head of house, Luke Barker. In Mullins, the head of house, John Tosida, and second head of house, Jacob Erasmus. And in Graham, the head of house, Africa Machingana, and second head of house, Jonathan Rosenthal. I invite the second head of school for 2021, Africa Machingana, to please come forward, and the head of school for 2021, Malibongwe Nkosi. Please come forward.
Warm congratulations to Africa and Malibongwe. We wish you everything of the best as you lead college through 2021. Our chaplain, Reverend Wingard, will close our proceedings with a prayer, and then we all ask you to stand and join us in singing the national anthem.
During the lockdown, we were forced to have virtual assemblies, and during one of these, we were privileged to interview two old Andrians who are now working in the arts and entertainment industry, Mr. Mio Kondleka and his wife, Queenie Grootboom, who are very popular radio presenters for Algoa FM. We also interviewed Mr. James Bassingthwaite, who is a very well-known musical producer in South African music and entertainment circles. He is the musical director for the renowned Mzansi Youth Choir and is also the musical director for X Factor South Africa.
At the start of the COVID lockdown, James invited a group of 50 South African performing artists to come together virtually to perform the national anthem as part of the hashtag Anthem Challenge RSA. Each of the artists recorded their rendition individually at home, and the recordings were combined into a single video and shared across social media with an invitation for all South Africans to join them. More than 1,000 people answered the call and submitted their videos. James said that the process of receiving all the videos was both exhilarating and emotional.
So, after the prayer, we ask you all to please stand and join in the wonderful 1,000 voice national anthem. Lastly, from us, thank you for spending this afternoon with St. Andrews College at this live stream of our Speech Day 2020 from wherever you are across the globe. We hope that you've enjoyed reflecting on a most unusual 2020 with us.
But before we do that, Boys in Blue has become a most popular and effective marketing tool for college. As we all know, it is the brainchild of Robbie, and every one of those videos was his creation. So Rob, what do you say? One last video, a tribute to the year that could have been.
This year has been different.
News just in. The first case of coronavirus in South Africa has been confirmed.
Schools will be closed.
This year has been difficult.
4, 9.
But if college boys have one thing, it's perseverance. It's coming back from difficulty. It's coming back from being behind. It's coming back. It's moving it back, right, left, forward, right, forward. It's playing it right. It's playing it loud. It's pushing it harder, pushing it further, pushing.
Sit.
It's playing it for the last time. This is home, but not as we know it. The college is a sleeping giant, but not for long. We'll meet you in 2021.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, we thank you for this past year and all that we have learned from it. We have lost so much, but we have also gained in other ways. We've learned to appreciate family and the time we've been able to spend with them. We've learned to be patient. We've learned to listen. We've learned to let go of many things that weren't important. We've learned how much we need friends, coaches, teachers, mentors, and leaders in our lives. Thank you for all that they have done for us, this year in particular. We are so grateful for the few opportunities we've had to be together as a school. They have been a powerful reminder of how blessed we are to have one another. Help us to never take for granted the small freedoms that we enjoy every day. We want to pray for those who continue to be affected by the pandemic around the world. And we ask that you give us all wisdom as we reimagine life beyond 2020. God bless our world, guide her leaders, guard her children, and give her peace. For Jesus Christ's sake, amen.